Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to analyze the live price action for EU and DXY to see what opportunities may be available today. You're going to see my strategy and my analysis, so if you're interested in those then please stick around. Alright, starting off on the daily, on the top is EU, on the bottom is DXY. So what's the daily showing us? Well, yesterday we closed out as a bearish possible, let's say, high test, but bearish candle, bearish day, continuing with that narrative of the buy side liquidity being taken from these previous highs, with that SMC divergence showing some weakness on EU. We took that buy side liquidity from the previous daily high. We had that bearish day, bearish closeout. We do still have some of this imbalance remaining, so it's possible that's still going to be a draw on price. However, going into today, we can see the previous daily low has been mitigated already and had some sort of rejection or bullish push from there, but we are still on the daily. We'll see what that looks like on the lower time frames. But yes, something to note, previous daily low sell side liquidity has been taken, and if we look at DXY, our inverse, previous daily high has also been rejected and swept. And as with the EU analysis, we still have some of that imbalance left if price wishes to fill that and continue in a bullish direction. So let's go down to the 4 hour and see what that shows us. So as discussed yesterday, overnight on the 4 hour, we mitigated this 4 hour imbalance here at the top of the leg in the premium. Now that also, I believe, swept the previous daily high, and from there we had that bearish breakdown. That bearish breakdown was also reaching down to fill this imbalance here, of course, and possibly we were creating a lower high and maybe go on to create a lower low. Now at the moment, price is consolidating in this area, and as we said on the daily, we have swept that previous daily low, and that actually closed out as a rejection on the 4 hour. There's not much bullish momentum continuing from there now, so price may still want to fill this imbalance in this area here. Now of course we still have our discount imbalances and 4 hour order block, right? So if this is showing a pullback and we do end up creating a lower low to confirm that this is a lower high being created here, then this may be our discount target to this area. Now we've got similar on DXY, of course. Price has already filled that imbalance and is in what we could call an order block here. Though it hasn't broken structure, I don't expect it to hold anything. There isn't much momentum going on here with price just yet, but we don't expect that with this overnight price action into Asia. So price still looks possible to be making a higher high and lower high here on EU, pulling back towards more of a premium on DXY to maybe come up into these imbalances here, and also to come towards this discount here on EU. Now we'll see how price handles this area once it is filled, because of course we need to see a confirmed break lower here for that to be the lower high and to give us even more of a bias that we are heading down deeper into a discount. So not much different from yesterday. So let's go down to the 1 hour and see what that shows us. So onto the 1 hour. Yesterday, as we made that bearish move down, we filled the first 1 hour imbalance. Price was held there and rejected. Price did pull back just into the evening, and we came into this 1 hour order block here, which we spiked into a couple times, even sweeping that previous spike there, and that ended up holding as resistance. So that rejection did indicate possibly that we are going to continue lower, which we did, and go into this 1 hour imbalance even further down, and then eventually this 1 hour order block. Now one thing I would note with this current price action, there's not a lot of momentum with it. Obviously this is evening price action, so we don't expect the most momentum because that's when the volatility is dying off, but it does look quite corrective at the same time. So having now taken sell side liquidity, it does look like this is a nice buy side liquidity trend line that we could possibly target. So I'm not changing the bias, but just from looking at the price action, it does give me that feeling, okay, we could go both ways here. If we take enough sell side liquidity, I can definitely see us coming back to liquidate some of these buy side liquidity highs from this trend line here possibly. We still have imbalance left below that we can target. We have this 1 hour order block that may provide a lot of support. We have similar on DXY, so we'll see how that goes. However, of course, we are a lot more into these imbalances and this possible order block up here. So I think with this corrective price action, it is looking like this support here could possibly produce some sort of bullish reaction, but until we're there, we still have these imbalances to fill and this to draw price. Because this leg here did give possible internal breaks of structure, it may hold, right? So we could definitely go both ways, but I'd still like what I see with, we broke down, mitigated this 1 hour imbalance here, pulled back correctively enough, mitigated this 1 hour order block, which was still rejected. Okay, so we haven't yet made a proper lower low. We've just swept this sell side liquidity here. So like I said, we've got to be careful of both sides and wait for a good structure to see where to go. On DXY, same as above, we have swept some buy side liquidity. We've got into an imbalance here, and this is also looking like a trend line. So yes, that also provides that same possible bias for us to long EU and short the DXY. So a bit of a mixed picture between the 4 hour and 1 hour that we need to be aware of, and we need to wait for some good structure to give us an indication of which way for us to trade today. Now, bearing that in mind, just a reminder, there are those higher time frame imbalances and price draws below here, but for the time being, we don't know exactly which direction price is going to go first. So let's go down to the M15 and see what opportunities may be available for us this morning. Right, so on the M15, if I'm honest, at the moment, I don't see the bullish long outlook just yet. Because if I analyze this price action, we broke down and then really correctively created a trend line pulling back up for Frankfurt to sweep the buy side liquidity of these previous Asia highs here. Now, though we have come above this high, there's no real momentum in order flow yet. Possibly that may come into the market at some point. And yes, there are these highs here that price could target. But I think ultimately in the high time frame leg, we are still in a premium. We have taken that sell side liquidity, but it's not produced much momentum. Now, of course, you can see us coming into Frankfurt and London, and there was a small bit of momentum here. But at the moment, it hasn't continued. So I'm going to analyze with this current state of price. We've taken the buy side liquidity from Asia. The order flow still looks fairly bearish. We've got our higher time frame POIs below imbalance and order block, which may attract price. And we're still continuing with that higher time frame 4 hour and daily confluences of we've mitigated that imbalance, had our SMC divergence and all of that stuff. So for now, I'm going to continue with a bearish short bias. The good thing is we don't have to execute any shorts until that structure shows. And if the long structure shows, then we can switch our biases, right, if it looks favorable to us. So at the moment, we've taken a buy side liquidity, which helps with a daily cycle to target the other side of Asia. We have this sell side liquidity trend line, which is great. And we have our POI targets and draw on prices to continue with this order flow, at least until this area. Once we've reached this area, I'd probably hesitate to short when we're within these POIs. So I've taken us down to the 5 minute, just because I think the structure will be even clearer with what's happening here. So we can see that we've come up above those Asia highs, failed to do a break of structure just yet. So let's see what price does. There's two scenarios that price could do. We could come up again above these highs here and then break down and break structure. So break structure to the left and pull back to our lower time frame order block and imbalance POI to trade down towards the other side of Asia. Now we'd have our breaker structure around here. We've already got a sweep of buy side liquidity, but we would have another one possibly around here, which would be great. We'd have some inducement from our pullback, possibly around this area, to go into our lower time frame order block imbalance around here. And order with stop loss just above the highs to target wherever, bottom of Asia. Very small stop loss, but we don't know where that high is going to be, of course, so don't read into it too much. And I think that would look good targeting all of this sell side liquidity from the trend line. Now I'm just going to move this over to the right because I did say two scenarios, but the second scenario is pretty much the same. It's just we may not actually go above these highs and we may break down from this area here, break down below this low here, and then pull back to the order block or an imbalance that's being created now and target the other side of Asia. So how that would look again obviously is break structure around there, inducement around here, order block POI around here, and we could set our order there, stop loss just above the high, targeting the low of Asia. So I think those look really good at this current time, especially once we get that breaker structure. Wouldn't want to do it without it. I think this trend line liquidity here looks obvious to target, and that's what I'm going to go with for this morning unless structure completely changes and looks bullish. So I hope you gained value from that. I hope it was clear. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.